Now, this is an important question, and it's a question I get fairly often. But at the same time, it's also probably one of the easiest questions to answer because it's very simple. It's a very simple explanation. And the thing is, it's the truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth or understand the truth. But it goes like this. Thanks for your videos. Can the person with alcohol use disorder, AUD, ever learn to drink alcohol normally? Or must they be sober forever? To answer this in a simple question, if your goal is not to eradicate drinking alcohol from your life for the rest of your life, you're not only lying to yourself, you're lying to everybody in your life. If your goal is to, I want to be a normalized drinker, I want to be able to drink like other people, well, get that out of your head. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to go over why that's not going to happen and why you should never have that as a goal. Your goal should to eradicate it from your life for the rest of your life. Why would you want a disease, something that has destroyed your life, something that has affected you physically, emotionally, psychologically, how it's affected your relationships in your life, how it's affected your health? Why would you want to re-enter that in any way, shape, or form back into your life? So let's break this down and continue the conversation. And again, real quick, I have a complete coaching program that's really designed to eradicate alcohol from your life for the rest of your life, help you reinvent yourself, and also help your family at the same time. Click on the links, set up a breakthrough call. It takes about 45 minutes or so. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family and your life. The call is free. The course is definitely not, but I'm looking for people who want to change their life and the life of their family. So to further answer this question, let's talk about it in terms of disease. Alcohol use disorder is a mental disorder. It's a mental health disease. Disease in general. So let's take another disease, just as a similarity, like heart disease or cancer. So if you had breast cancer, for example, or you had pancreatic cancer, stomach cancer, skin cancer, some kind of cancer, and you were able to get that out of your life, you were able to beat it through radiation or through chemo, and you went through a year of hell in your life. You went through chemotherapy, you lost your hair, radiation. I mean, they literally burn you from the inside out. And you went through all this hell, and you finally got to a point where the cancer's out of your life. And you're getting your health back. You're getting your life back. You'll be able to go back to work. You're able to rebuild your relationships, and you're not this person with cancer anymore. That's not your identity. That identity is no longer your identity. You're no longer a person living with cancer. You are cancer-free. Why would you want to go say, well, maybe I should just have a little bit of cancer? Would that be okay if I just got a little bit of cancer back? I can handle it. I went through it before. I can handle a little bit of cancer. Why is the idea of wanting to have alcohol again in the future and somehow be a normalized drinker any different? Why is that? Why would you want to introduce the hell on earth that you put yourself through and everybody in your life? Why would you want to re-enter that into your life? Why would you want to go back to the way things were once you have survived this? And really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what everybody else does. If you want to fit in with everybody else, you don't want to be the odd man out. I'm the one that goes out and we don't drink. You know what? Who cares? You got to take care of you. And until you start having the mentality that this is my problem, it's not everybody else's problem, I'm the one that has to take care of it. And I'm 100% responsible for my actions or my inactions. Until you have that mentality, you're not going to obtain sustainable sobriety. And I mean sustainable forever for the rest of your life. And it's going to take maintenance. Okay, it's not like any other disease. I mean, psychologically, you do have to maintain it. Will it get easier? Absolutely. The longer that the alcohol's been out of your body, physically, emotionally, psychologically, it'll no longer become part of your identity. But that doesn't mean you want to re-enter it into your life. That means you want to double down on making sure that it never does. Because you don't want to build up a life again and relationships again and just only to destroy that all over again. Because it's a progressive disease. One drink is too many, and what's going to happen is 50's not enough. You're going to have a hole that you're going to revisit, and you're going to need to refill that hole that's inside of you with alcohol. And you're going to You have to realize the alcohol, it's about repressed emotions, covering up painful things. So if you're going to obtain sustainable sobriety, you have to understand and you have to work through your why. You know, what is the stress, the anxiety, the depression, or the other dual problem? You know, maybe it's, you have bipolar or borderline personality, or some other malady, some other mental health issue. Okay, you have to work through those, okay, to obtain sustainable sobriety. And really, the last thing I want to say is, don't make relapse kind of a crutch to what your ultimate goal is, which is sustainable sobriety. Because I know they always say, well, relapse is all part of recovery. Well, it doesn't have to be. If you're 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you don't want to relapse, because you could start the whole process over again. One drink can get the whole thing started again. And if you think you're in a place where you're comfortable enough where, hey, I can drink, it's a wedding, I can have a couple glasses of wine or some champagne. No, you can't. You're not a normalized drinker. You never will. And recognizing that and understanding that will give you a life, a longer life, a healthier life, and a much more fulfilling life. And I really hope that makes sense. And the last thing I want to say real quick is the memoir is called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. Unfortunately, it was, the story of my wife, and I was married for 25 years, and she wasn't able to overcome this disease, unfortunately. And it's a big reason why I do this. I want to be able to save other people. And it's an important book. You can find it on Amazon. It's also in my link tree. You can buy it right on my website, right on this page. And there's also a link for international if you're outside the United States. It's also ebook is available on Amazon, Apple, and the Barnes & Noble website. And again, thanks so much for listening.